Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of That OK podcast. I wanted to do this tonight because we don't have league. So I thought that I should just give you guys something to watch. I have a very special guest here today. She you she she is known as Mrs. OK Bowler, but I get to call her my fiance. Say hello, Mrs. OK Bowler.
Hi, everybody. Mrs. OK Bowler here. How is everyone doing tonight?
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I grew up in the state of Maine where the seas are always blue and the pine trees are very pine. You can smell them from a mile away. The mountains are gorgeous. I grew up in Maine my whole life. I am a former athlete. I was a swimmer, I was a softball player, and I was a volleyball player. But my two favorite sports were mostly softball and swim.
That's very nice. What got you into sports?
What got me into sports was always watching one of my favorite baseball movies called The Sandlot,
Oh,
where I learned a lot. Get it? Sandlot. I learned a lot.
very good. What got you into volleyball?
My grandmother played volleyball when she was a senior in high school, and she ended up getting her varsity letter her senior year, and I got my varsity letter my senior year as well. So it was kind of almost like a generation thing, and it made her very proud knowing that I got my varsity letter my senior year as well. It made her very proud.
That's very sweet. Did you try and go to college for softball?
Unfortunately, I didn't meet the requirements to go to college, but I went to every single softball game at the local college that was like about 5 minutes from my house, and I learned a lot from their coach.
Yeah.
I even learned a few baseball tricks as well.
What are those?
To never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game, as said by Babe Ruth. And when I went to a couple of softball and baseball camps, the baseball coach was so impressed on how my pitching was, he asked me to come over a couple times.
Mhm.
Sure enough, I did. I struck out 8 out of the 9 boys.
Oh, wow.
And let's just say the coach was like, how the heck did you boys let that girl strike you out?
I guess they were top notch.
They were very top notch, but the thing is, the baseball coach that coached at the college is still coaching today, and he does not plan on retiring.
Oh, wow. So he'd want to be buried there.
Pretty much.
So now going way past, we met right where you work at the grocery store.
That is correct. We met right before we had the global pandemic known as COVID-19. You just moved up here from Long Island, New York, and it felt good that, I met someone who I thought I could get along with, even though I told you, let's not really rush into things. I could use a new guy friend and stuff, but the moment I saw you, I just knew something was very special about you, just something new. And I knew that there was really, as I said, there's something special about you.
But what's funny is that I didn't meet you right away.
No, you didn't.
My mom did.
Mom did? Your mom did? Yeah.
She was telling me, oh, I met this wonderful girl. She would be perfect for you. You would love her. And I was going through some stuff, and I said, no, I don't want to be that kind of guy. So she was like, okay. She finally stopped talking about it. And then eventually when something happened, I went to mom. She kept saying it. She's like, "Oh, now that you two are done, you can meet Micah." And so I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll meet her." And we tried for a good 2 weeks to try and find you. Every time we would go, you were off.
I know. They had me working crazy schedules, but that one day I was so happy. I just got my hair done, and it was a good day at work. I'm running back and forth between bagging, being a cashier, and doing the self checkout at my job. I finally ran into him and ran into Mr. OK Bowler, and I just knew, just my heart was pounding so fast. the butterflies were going, the birds were singing, the hearts were going, just like in the Disney movies that we watch.
Yeah. And my mom said it was like those Disney movies where the everything, the birds, the hearts would all fly out, and she knew that it was perfect. And I, right then and there, I knew you were perfect, and I wanted to meet you. And now, say how we had to hide each other.
Well, we were actually getting ready to go on our first date, which was going to be a tradition here in Maine, is called Maine Maple Sunday. We were going to go to Maine Maple Sunday, and then that Tuesday we're going to go to trivia night at the local pizza joint. Unfortunately, that's when COVID happened, and we weren't allowed to see each other because the pandemic was starting to spread. They were telling people, oh, only go out if it's absolutely necessary. So you and I were still texting, we're still friends. But then a couple weeks into when we were talking, we noticed that, we were really starting to fall for each other.
Yeah.
We said, I love you within the first 5 weeks. We just knew that, because just something about our personalities, really clicked.
Yeah.
And so, but nope, the only one that really knew was one of my best friends and her mom. Unfortunately, her mom is no longer with us. May she rest in peace. We miss her dearly.
Yes, we do.
So I kept you a secret because, I just didn't know where this was going because, we were still in the friend zone kind of thing. But then came my birthday of 2020. It was my 26th birthday. My parents had a social distance party, and my mom invited you to come over and everything. But first, I had to work that day. My mom's family every year sends me flowers for my birthday. I'm very thankful for that. And then all of a sudden, I get another package from another flower place, and my two sisters decide to take it, and they look at it and they're like, "Hey, Micah, who's Honey Bear?" And I'm like, "Oh shoot!" So then I had to come clean to everyone, saying, "Oh, just this guy I've been talking to for the last 3 months during COVID, because I didn't want to tell anybody else because I didn't know where this was going." But
yeah.
So then Mr. OK Bowler FaceTimed me to say goodnight, and my mom was like, "Oh, come over and join us." And sure enough, he came over, and his mom, the first thing his mom said was, "Hey, no hugging, no kissing and stuff." And what did we do? Right when we saw each other, we gave each other the biggest hug because we knew we wouldn't let this pandemic stop us.
Exactly.
So.
And then eventually we got very, very, very serious. And there was one day I hid it from you. I did tell you eventually, but I hid it from you. Everybody was going to go out for a walk to walk the dogs. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay here. My leg is hurting.
And that seemed a little fishy to me because, you always tell me you have had some sort of problem, but I didn't know it was that bad that day, because you did tell me you took some medicine, but you said it didn't work.
Yeah. And so you guys went outside, and I went into the kitchen, and I'm like, "Mr. Brown, can you come in here? Can you come in here, please?" And so I was like, I would like, how much I love your daughter, and I love her more than anything. I would like your blessing to ask her to marry me. And at first they were very skeptical about it because I wasn't working, I wasn't driving. So I told them all of the stuff I've been working with, and I said, we're not going to get married right away. It's most likely like a 3-year down the line. And so I eventually did get the blessing. They said yes.
Which meant a lot to me that, you asked both of my parents for their blessing because, not only both of my parents raised me, and that's always been my thing is if whoever was going to propose to me, I would want them to ask both of my parents for the blessing, not just my dad, because I know that's the traditional thing to ask the dad, but for me, it has to be both parents.
Yeah,
that's just me.
And I wanted to make sure it was both. That way, one didn't know, and the other one was kind of just behind everything, and be like, "Wait, what? What did you do?"
Exactly. So then came July 1st of 2021. Mr. OK Bowler and I celebrated our 1 year together, and we were just about to celebrate our 13 months together. Our anniversary is my birthday, which is really cool. This year's 5 years. We'll get to that in a minute. But no, so I went into work. They ended up calling me saying, "Hey, we need you to come in. We have all these call outs and everything." And I was a little confused because I knew it was right around July 4th weekend, but I didn't even think too much of it. So I'm like, okay, do I have time to fix my hair, do my makeup or whatever, because I always like to do some fun things right before the holidays. They're like,
yeah,
no, we need you in here now. And I'm like, okay, I'll be right there. So I'm rushing to get ready. My hair looks like a rat's nest. I look like a disaster. So I come into work, and I'm looking at the sheets to see how many call-outs we have. Turns out we didn't have any call-outs, so I felt that was very fishy. So
then me and my mom walk in.
Because you were getting steaks on sale because they were on a good sale.
Yep. And you thought nothing of it. No. Because the day before she asked you if you have any steak sales going. And so she told me, she sat me down one morning and she's like, "What would you think of proposing today?" And of course I was all giddy, yay. And so when we walked in, you thought nothing of it because you already knew we were going to look for steak.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, the rest of your family and start walking in. My family's on Zoom.
I have my family by video chat.
Yep.
The thing is, you came through my line, and the rule at the grocery store where I work at, you're not supposed to help any family. It doesn't matter if they're an in-law, a fiance, husband, whatever. They cannot come through your line because they don't want you to do favoritism.
Yeah.
So luckily, you got permission from my manager to come through my line. I don't know how you pulled that off, but that was really cool. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you're not supposed to come through my line. He's like, oh, I got permission. Don't worry about it. So you gave me these beautiful, beautiful flowers, which they were gorgeous. So.
And then I had my lovely blonde hair.
Oh, God. Please don't do blonde hair again. If you're going to do anything, either go blue like me or do a nice ombre red or something.
I go with this now.
But I think you need to cut it a little more short. I'm sorry, it's starting to look like a little rat tail.
Yeah.
No offense.
I know.
So, but no, you came through my line and you took me by the hands and you said the most beautiful things about our love story. The one thing that really made me happy was you said, I looked into your beautiful green eyes and I just knew you were going to be mine forever. And then that's when you proposed to me in front of everybody. And the one thing I really liked is how my managers were in on it because they were like, okay, Micah, you're all done for working for today. You may go home. I'm like, wait, I have to go to break. I have to go to my lunch or whatever. They're like, no, you don't. You were never supposed to work. You were just here to get proposed to. Get out of here.
Joe said, do your hair the way you want, my G.
Thanks, Joe.
No, I have a fiance. But no, and then it's been 4 years since I proposed.
Yep, the ring.
There's the ring. And it's just been amazing.
Yeah, as I said, we've been together for 5 years this coming June, and it's been just the most wonderful 5 years. This is the longest relationship I ever had because never made it past more than a year. I mean, I made it to 1.5 years, but that was terrible.
Yeah, and plus, once I put that ring on, you had to deal with me.
I had to deal with you no matter what. I mean,
exactly. Even though how crazy I can be.
It's debatable. So.
And so eventually we found it. I was trying to find leagues to bowl. As everybody knows on here, bowling is a huge part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when my mom couldn't take me, it was probably about 3 years in.
Yeah, 3 years in. And
yeah, and we started going at the half price time.
Yeah, because I told you there's a couple bowling alleys near here, but we never thought because I told you I used to go bowling as a kid and stuff, but I've never gone bowling. I just did it for fun and stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you finally told me, oh hey, I used to be on a bowling team and a league when you were growing up, I'm like, oh, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. So one night we went when they had a league night and we're like, hey, do you have any room for two extra players? Sure enough, there's 2 extra people that needed help. And, I wasn't quite ready yet. So I was just a cheerleader at the time because I didn't know how good I was going to be. Because I didn't know it was a handicap league. I had no idea. That's, because I've been a competitor my whole life. As I said, I was a swimmer, I was a softball player, and I was a volleyball player.
For people that don't know, a handicap league is a league where you don't have to be so perfect. You don't have to be such a try-hard about it, or you don't have to do what they call scratch, which means you don't get the handicap.
So, but no, I was cheering and stuff, and then one day there was a player that was injured, and they were like, "Hey, we need your fiance to go bowl for us." And I'm like, I'm not gonna be the greatest, just so you know. And they're like, just give it a shot. And sure enough, I liked it.
Yep. And then I eventually got you the bowling ball.
Mm-hmm. You got the first bowling ball for me for my birthday
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And it smells like birthday cake. Pretty weird, but it smells amazing. It helps calm my nerves and stuff. But it was very cool that I actually got to use my own bowling ball instead of one of those public ones. I mean, the public ones are not too bad, but I personally like my own.
Yeah, and we were able to get it all drilled to fit your hand. It was nice and comfy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it took you a while to get used to it because you never had something shaped for your hand.
No, because I was always used to the 8-pound balls that they have at the lanes and stuff. Because the ball I have right now is between a 10-pounder and a 12-pounder, if I'm correct.
I believe it's the first one I got you was 10 pounds, and the one I just got you is 12 pounds.
Okay, yep. So I'm trying to get used to them. They are a little heavy and stuff, but I'm trying to get used to them. But they're a good way for me to get my muscles going.
And it didn't help that I would get angry easily about trying to help you at a bowl.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating for me at the time, but but the frustration turned into me getting strikes and kicking your butt.
Well, you know me. I have always had a short temper. I think everybody knows.
Oh yeah. So, but no, I thought it was really cool that you really got me into something you liked because I always showed you what I used to like and stuff. So it was fun,
Yeah. And I just wanted something for us to do together.
Yeah.
Instead of you just driving me to my league and just sit there and just watch. I wanted you to be able to do it with me.
And it's been a lot of fun, It's a good form of exercise for both of us. And just, it just felt good knowing that, I just didn't realize how good of a bowler I was until I became a part of the league.
Exactly.
Because right now I'm at a 119 average, and for a first-time bowler, that's not bad.
Yeah.
For a first-time leaguer, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
So. Especially
where you are at this point. But you're getting so much better. Even last week, you bowled over your average all 3 games.
I know. That one was really shocking to me. I'm hoping when I get there, I want to try to get to the 150. I have done 150s before, but I want to try to get to the high 150s to 170s as I keep on getting better.
Yep, we just gotta do more practice.
Yep. Unfortunately, as Mr. OK Bowler said, we don't have league this week. It's school vacation here, and it just too crowded with too many kids, and
we don't want to be around screaming, running kids.
No, and with my screen allergies, how they are, I get headaches sometimes. The kids will start giving me even more of a headache.
Yep.
So do you have any questions at all, Mr. OK Bowler?
I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Fire away.
What was it like when I first got you your own bowling ball?
So when you gave me my first bowling ball, I was a little nervous because, as I said, I'm used to bowling with 8-pound, 9-pound balls. I was not used to a 10-pounder because I thought, oh, that's gonna be too heavy for me because I was worried because I still had my sore shoulders from when I was doing softball. But I got used to it and everything, and it was a little frustrating at first because I was like throwing like weird curveball, as they say in softball, curveballs, straight balls, fastballs, whatever. And I was mostly going to the gutter, so I was getting a little frustrated with myself. But I'm like, take a deep breath. Remember that quote from Babe Ruth? It's going to be okay. Because the quote that Babe Ruth always said, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Exactly.
So I kept on practicing and practicing. Eventually, I got better, and I was bowling straights with that ball, with the first ball you gave me.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it felt like it was a lightweight because I went from a 10-pounder to a 12-pounder. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the difference.
What was it like when I got you the heavier one?
It felt like it was heavier, but it didn't feel like it was that much heavier for some reason. I thought it was gonna be like a lot more heavy, but but no, it was about the same. But it was weird seeing how straight the first ball will go, but then how the other one will like start to roll or turn or whatever, twist as that's what you want to call it.
Hook.
Thank you. I don't even know bowling terms.
That's why she's got me.
So. But no, I mean, it was really cool seeing how that kind of works and stuff. But I was a little confused at first. I asked Mr. OK Bowler, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that supposed to do that? He's like, yeah.
You were all giggly and you stood there. Is that supposed to happen?
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah, that's what it does. But
excuse me, I had a small itch.
It's okay. So now that you're getting much better, is it more fun or still more frustrating?
It's more fun now. It is a little more still frustrating with the newer ball because it's still kind of new. I got it for Christmas, but I'm trying to get better at it and stuff. I need to remember to be more patient with myself because as I said, I'm trying to be a perfectionist because that's what I was trying to do during softball and everything else.
Yeah.
But I know it's not supposed to be perfect, but I'm just trying to do the best I can.
And the league makes it a lot of fun with our teammates.
Oh, the teammates make it a lot of fun, especially with the two we have. They are very nice people, and I just at first I was a little worried about having being the only girl in the member, but I tell them I'm the princess of the lane. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I get to meet so many wonderful people, and they've been nothing but sweet and supportive, and just like they're helping me with all their tricks and tips and everything. So,
yeah. And I'm trying to help you as much as I can.
I know, and
really even my dad comes into the chat during the Tuesday live streams and tells you what would help, what you should do this way, and what you shouldn't be doing.
Exactly, and that's helped me too. Like sometimes I do need your guys' help, but sometimes as Frank Sinatra said, I want to do it my way.
And you usually get mad at me because I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, but, I'm trying to get better at that too.
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm trying to get better. Like when I need help and stuff, I want to try to ask for help, but at the same time, I want to try to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So.
Which is good in a way that you want to do it on your own and with help at the same time.
Exactly.
Because you can get the help from the person, but then you wanted to try and do it on your own. And if that doesn't work, you'll try and find something else to do, not just come and ask somebody, oh, that didn't work. What do I do next?
Exactly. So, but I might get better at no gutters. I mean, I still have gutter balls, but not as bad.
Well, that's what I named my page, because I'm only that okay, but I'll sometimes still throw it in the gutter.
Exactly. Sometimes when you get in the gutter, it's pretty funny. I'm like, oh man, gutter trash.
So now moving on to something new. Everybody here, or mostly everybody, knows that I had weight loss surgery, the gastric sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
What was your mindset when you heard that I'm having it?
My mindset, at first I was a little scared because, you're the first person I met that had this procedure done. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never had to witness any of my friends or family going through it. So I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, you were doing a lot of research about it.
I had to do a lot of research. I had to find ways to help my mental health, my anxiety, just to make sure I was going to be in the right state of mind. Because, I was a little terrified because, like eating things that he's not supposed to eat, eating things I'm not supposed to eat. It was pretty scary because I didn't know what to expect because I didn't want to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, but what really helped is that my mother had the same surgery, so she kind of told you what's supposed to happen, what I'm supposed to do, and so you had your research plus my mom, and to kind of help you calm down too.
Exactly. I'm very thankful for that because it did help a lot. And as I said, when I got to meet the actual doctor, I knew once I met the doctor, I knew you're going to be in good hands. But going to those appointments and stuff, it was just terrifying because it's like just knowing the unknown. And just I've heard so many things about people having the surgery. They've had a good time experience with it, some have had a bad experience, and it just got me somewhere in the middle where I got very scared and I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, and a lot of your friends have had it too.
One of my coworkers actually had it, and I'm very proud of her. She's lost a lot of weight too.
Yep,
very proud of her. She looks amazing too, and
I'm always very proud of people who have that surgery and have the mindset of I have to do it. I can't just have the surgery and be like, oh, now I can eat whatever I want. Like it's for somebody who had it, it's very, very, very hard to just drink anything.
But I'm very proud of you for. Sorry, I'm not trying to get emotional, but I'm very proud of you. Like how far you come. You even told me one night. You actually made me cry, and you said, thanks for sticking by my side through this entire thing. And I told you, like, if I wanted to leave, I would have left 5 years ago. And here I am, 5 years later. I'm still here.
Exactly.
So,
how did it feel the day that I had the surgery?
The day you had surgery, it was nerve-wracking for me. I didn't get any sleep that night because I knew we had to be up early.
Neither did I.
But I was just very anxious because I know you hate the needles. I know you get very in pain very easily. It just made it hard for me because I wanted to walk with you to the operating room just to make sure you were okay and everything.
Yep.
But I couldn't. But it was just hard, sitting in that waiting room, waiting until you got into recovery because I just wanted to see you because, my anxiety was starting to go through and I was pacing. I was, people were calling me, texting me saying, how's he doing and stuff. And I'm like, I'm waiting to see him. And I had to excuse myself. I actually had to go to the hospital gift shop just to calm. I didn't buy anything, but I had to go there just to calm myself down because it was starting to overwhelm me. And I just couldn't, the anxiety was starting to get too much for me.
And you told me that they weren't allowing you to see me.
I wasn't allowed to see you until you were fully in recovery, and you were fully in recovery. Like you were almost up, and they were like, nope, you have to wait till he's fully in the recovery room. And let me tell you, that was a pain in the behind. Because I'm like, I need to see him. Like my anxiety is like I'm about to have a panic attack.
Yeah. But here I am. Where now? How were you when you finally saw me.
When I finally saw you, I was like, okay, he's all right. He looks a little groggy. He was a little froggy because he had a little scratch. But it was good to see that you were okay. That you were in pain, but it was really good, that you were safe and that everything went good.
Yeah. So how did you feel when you finally saw me when you walked into the room?
I was so relieved. I was ready to run up and give you the biggest hug, but I knew I couldn't do that because if I squeeze you, you're gonna explode. But no, seeing you and giving you like the biggest hug, it meant the absolute world. Like knowing that you were okay and that that the next step of our chapter is going to begin, and it's been amazing.
What would that next chapter be? What would you want that next chapter to be?
I would really like, if we can, to start talking to the parents and start possibly planning our wedding, because we've been together for 5 years, we've been engaged for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love, we live together, we're basically married, but I want my last name to change. I want all this dream wedding stuff, but it's kind of stressful right now.
Yeah, well, we've been trying to find me a job using the vocational supervisors. So we've been trying to go through that. And do you have any questions for me? Or questions?
What was your favorite bowling memory?
My favorite bowling memory has to be me and my dad would go to a place called Babylon Lanes.
And is that in New York?
Yep, it's in New York on Long Island. And they used to play music from the 70s and 80s.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I would always say, hey, Dad, what's this song? And of course he knew.
Did you guys do the hustle or do the disco at all?
No.
Oh, come on. I would have loved to see that.
One day. But yeah, he took me every weekend. He took me bowling, and he was the one that got me into bowling, which I have told before. But yeah, it was so much fun just spending time with him, always asking him what the song is, and he knew it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is Babylon, if I'm saying that correctly, is Babylon Lane still open, or did they close down?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Farmingdale Lanes closed.
Yeah, told me that.
They got bought out.
That's sad.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun when I was there.
Yep, good memories, huh?
Of course, and now I have even more memories with you.
Absolutely. What is your favorite memory with me? Actually, now that I think about it, besides proposing to me,
I was just about to say, besides proposing, I would have to say that my favorite time was there was so many. I can't think of it right away. There was this time. I think it was your birthday, and we did the it was when camp opened up.
Oh, Camp Olympics.
Camp Olympics,
that was my late birthday party with family and friends.
Yep.
This past year for the big 3-0. Yes, I'm 30. I don't look it. I know.
Yeah, you do not look 30.
No. But yeah, Camp Olympics. So, but that was a lot of fun. So
it was. What was your favorite part?
I would have to say doing the pie eating contest, because I used to do the pie eating contest champ growing up. So, but no, it was a lot of fun seeing my family and friends and a new little addition and stuff come and celebrate, my birthday, and I got to celebrate with all the ones I love and care about. So,
and we're gonna do it again this year too.
We are, and it's gonna be a great way to start off the summer. So
definitely.
Did anyone ask any questions for us here?
It was just, there are no questions, unfortunately. It was mostly just Joe saying that you should let me have my hair the way I want. So I'm gonna go blonde again.
Oh dear.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you better. I'm sorry. No more blonde. I mean, blonde would be fine, but who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna go orange.
Yeah, no. You're gonna look like the heat miser.
No, look like
An Oompa Loompa.
Oompa Loompa, yeah. Do you have any, like, if somebody was going, I know you have anxiety, right? Do you have anxiety in certain things? If somebody out there watching has anxiety, what's something you want to say to them?
What I would say is definitely, find your safe person that you feel safe with. You are not alone in anxiety. I have my family, I have my friends, I have Mr. OK Bowler here, and the best way to calm down during an anxiety or a panic attack is count upwards to 3, take a nice deep breath, and just relax and know that everything is going to be okay. Just if you do, need someone to talk to, you can always try to find that safe person and talk to them and tell them what's going on.
Yep. Well, since that you have to open tomorrow, we're gonna end a little early. That way you can head to bed and not be cranky at me.
Well, not head to bed. I want to relax for a little bit. It's still too early for me.
Well, that way you're not cranky at me.
If you make me coffee, I'll be fine.
So, any last words before we go?
Thank you for having me on this podcast. Hopefully we can do a Disney one next time so you can know about my Disney nerd side. Does that sound fair?
We always do eventually.
All righty. Well, Mrs. OK Bowler here. Thanks for having me.
Love you, sweetheart.
I love you more.
Mwah.
Mwah.